Hello, I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Schuh, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. So, are you feeling like you're living a life of mediocrity? Are you really wanting to find that true love? You're single, you're successful in all areas of your life, but in the area of love, you're looking for love in all the wrong places, and you just can't seem to figure it out. So, this past week, I was running out by the reservoir and I was listening to an old Elizabeth Gilbert podcast. And for those of you who don't know Elizabeth Gilbert, I adore her. She's the author of Big Magic, and she's also the author of Eat, Pray, Love, which was sensational. And so many would agree that she is incredibly talented and creative and successful. And so on this podcast that I was listening to, she was coaching someone. She was coaching a slam poetry artist. And this slam poetry artist had been writing poetry all of her life. And she had a taste of what it was like to go live in a coffee shop and share her work. And so she was seeking advice to how does she get over this fear of rejection. You know, she had visions of people throwing things at her and, you know, being mean to her and yelling names and all of these things. But in her heart of hearts, she just wanted to get her work out there. And so what does an artist that's fearful of rejection have to do with you and your love life as a single woman? So the way that Elizabeth framed this which was so brilliant. She said, really, if you want to get your work out in your world, or for us, for women in our community at Pink Tent, these are single women that want to find their happily ever after love. And so if you're wanting to find that love, get comfortable with potentially being rejected. And it's like the way that she described it, she said, it's the tax. It's a tax you have to pay. And so I started thinking about this and thinking about dating and what dating is like in today's society. And in some regards, it's like a marketing game. And I know that sounds strange, but think about it. You go on a date, you put your best foot forward, you get all dressed up, you put, possibly put your makeup on, and you're really marketing yourself to some degree. And sometimes it can take several dates. In fact, my husband, before he met me, he told me he had joined It's Just Lunch, and he had been on like 42 dates. You know, you can think about that as rejections, like 42 rejections. Not necessarily the women were rejecting him, but it's like you're trying something, you're putting yourself out there, and it's not working, and it's not working, and it's not working. So it truly is a tax. It's a tax that you have to pay if you want to live a fantastic life. You know, you've got to be willing to put yourself out there, to step over the fear of rejection. We're all fearful of rejection. In fact, it's one of the greatest fears innately that we will be rejected, that we're not enough, that we're not lovable. So really, the quality of your life is determined by your ability to be okay with uncertainty. And so I want you to start thinking about dating and this love that you desire, that many of you ladies say you would do anything to have the love of your life. Are you willing to put yourself out there? Are you willing to be rejected in the sense that, you know, either it's not a good fit for you or for the other person? And it's truly a numbers game. Like, think how many people there are on the planet. I'm here to say, ladies, that there are so many great catches out there and great partners out there for you, but it's the willingness to put yourself out there, to say yes to your dreams, to say yes to true love. So my husband and I both, I mean, when I met him, I was on Match and I was on eHarmony, and there was that part of me that was thinking there must be something wrong with me, right? Like, I have to go online to meet somebody. Why can't I meet somebody down the street, you know, the old school way? Ladies, it's a numbers game, and be willing to play a game, the game of love. Love is a risky business. And what I mean by that is you need to be willing to put your heart out there. So hello, Sheila. The willingness to put your heart out there, raw and vulnerable, so that you can actually connect with another soul and create something beautiful. Ladies, it is so worth it. It's time to pay your taxes. The taxes are putting yourself out there and be willing to potentially be rejected. Okay, because if one person rejects you or you reject them, you can move on. Your person is out there. Be willing to put yourself out there, because you know what? On the other end of this, the possibility, when you find that love, you will look back and say, it was worth it. It was worth it. And love is risky. And it is so worth it. In fact, the night before my blind date with my husband, I almost didn't go. And the night for him, he said that he almost didn't show up. In fact, the night before, he had been on a really bad date with some woman that was saying that she was channeling God. And he's thinking, oh my gosh, all the good women are taken. So he was willing to try again. And then I had been on a bike ride the day before with some friends who actually knew him. And so I was leaning into that possibility of like, well, maybe it's possible. I had heard, more about him. My greatest fear was, I knew that he was quite a bit older than me. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to put it out there. So we were both two people coming together. There's always going to be a fear of rejection. Pay your taxes, ladies. Get yourself out there. It's a numbers game. It's just a matter of time. And there is true love for you. Be willing to pay the taxes. As Elizabeth Gilbert said to the artist that wanted to get her work out into the world, she said, be willing to pay your taxes. Look at a lot of people who have done great things in this world. I look at my sister as an inspiration. I mean, she had to, go out there and audition as in musical theater. Like, rejection is just part of the game, right? So if you're willing to put yourself out there, if you're willing to step over the threshold of fear and pay your taxes, it will pay off. I promise you. All right, signing off for Transformational Tuesday. I am here every Tuesday at 4:30 Mountain Time. We will be skipping, I think it's I want to say the 18th. I think we're going to need to skip that day. I'll be out of town. But other than that, tune in here. And be sure to like our page, leave comments below how you found true love or anything about this message that you're enjoying. Have a great day, and we'll see you next Tuesday.